Good morning, quilt people and seekers of the world. How are you? I'm doing great. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Hope that, you got some ideas of where you want to go this year and that you're not afraid to employ those into real action. I'm excited about today's topic, open this door. What does that even mean? I don't know. It sounds powerful. Can we do that? Yeah, we can. But it depends on what you're looking to in order to open this door. And of course, the door represents anything that you are trying to do in your life, whether it's manifest $1 million, whether it's, the job of your dreams, whether it can be anything, right? So the door in what we're going to be talking about today represents anything you're trying to accomplish or achieve in your lifetime. I know that a lot of us have soul work, lifetime work that we feel like we've been brought here to do by showing who we are and what's written on our soul. Certainly what I'm doing in here, right? So in understanding this lesson, open this door. It's opportunity, it's, meeting the person of your dreams, it's opportunity, it's everything. It's everything. And yet, I like to think about it like this. Let's say that the most powerful Christian in the land and the most powerful Jew and the most powerful Mormon and the most powerful, take your pick of whatever popular religion that's going on today. If they were to take their most powerful person in their faith, I could stand against all of them without fear, without issue, because all of those people would be arriving to the task of open this door without their own personal power. Because in order to belong to those organizations, you have to put your personal power outside of yourself, right? Let's take a little representation of this little stone elephant, okay? Let's say this guy is their god, right? It's something that lives outside of themselves that they pray to, right? So when they arrive to the exercise of the greatest spiritual challenge of their life, and God is like, okay, let's test who really understands the lessons of why I sent you here to earth. And they send up the first guy, the most powerful Christian in the land. Let's say it's Billy Graham. And he's like, okay, God, Jesus, blah, 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 let's do this thing, open the door, I believe in you, show me the way, do all the things, do all the, provide the opportunities, whatever, blah, 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 amen. Does the door open? No. The next guy comes, the Muslim guy. He's like, Allah, blah, 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 blah. Here's some foods, here's some tokens, here's some crystals, here's some, petals, here's some, all the things of celebration, blah, 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 blah. Now, open this door. Does the door open? No. And on and on and on it goes through every single religion that has placed God outside of themselves, and then they expect the thing that lives outside of themselves to go and open the door. And that's why I would arrive to that task without fear. Because I don't have a God that lives outside of me that I'm asking, magical wishes of to go do my bidding, because I, in and of myself, cannot go and do it. Wrong. Very wrong. I will arrive to that task and they will be like, open the door. I'll be like, great. Click, open, walk through. What's the big deal? That would not be a hard test for me. I could open the door. They could not. Because they put all their personal power outside of themselves and then expect powerful things to happen. It's getting back to the statement of, I am God. But that really challenges what is God? Like, do we live in a cartoon world where there is a cartoon sky up above us with deities running around? No, I mean, since Zeus and Athena, we have all kind of looked at that like, maybe not the best use of our time, right? Especially when there's all this stuff like actually happening in real time in like the space that you are that needs attention. Personal power must live inside of you. So if power on earth comes from God, then God itself must live inside of you. To be one and the same with God is how you harness. And that's maybe a different way of looking at it. It's not that I'm looking to a deity. It's not that I'm looking to, a God of some kind that is an extraterrestrial being or something out there. No. To me, anyhow, the definition of God is just kind of the magic of the universe, like the stuff we don't quite understand yet, but it's still rooted in science. You can't abandon science in this universe. That's how it operates and runs. And science is the way that we kind of parse out how that actually works and what makes sense. Right? But a lot of these faith communities are like, science, no, blah, 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 blah. That really messes with our Jesus story. Sorry, we can't do that. And that's why you end up with all this anti-science stuff in religious circles, because it messes with their myth, right? You can't say that religions and myth, they all go together with science. They don't. Go look at the Noah's Ark thing that they built in Missouri or somewhere. They are the most anti-science establishment you have ever seen. They will teach you to your face that everything that you look at is 6,000 years old, and that dinosaurs and man lived harmoniously together at some point on planet Earth. That didn't happen. None of it's real, right? And they're trying desperately to protect their myth and stand against science. And that's why Bill Nye, the science guy, went to battle with all these religious circles, because the religious circles were like, yeah, I don't believe in science. And he's like, that's not how science works. It's not to be believed or not believed. Anyhow, get off my soapbox. Anyhow, so if you find that you have a God that you're trying to have a relationship with, that's not you, right? Do you understand that? The God you're trying to have a relationship with is not a deity, entity, or being that lives outside of you. It's the science and magic of the universe that we're trying to harness in order to live harmoniously and step into the power to be able to instantly manifest on a Christ level. That's where we're going. That's what I'm interested in doing. All this other myth and whatever and 2,000-year-old stuff that is a clear reflection on how life used to be when women were not allowed to speak or teach, when gay people were not allowed to exist, right? When dashing children against rocks was normal, and any book that has clear instructions on how to hold and trade human slaves is what they want to bring to the table and say, yeah, this is the answer. Instructions on human trafficking. Okay, well, that's fine. If you want to go do that, congratulations, hallelujah, enjoy your nice life, right? But again, that's not what we're trying to do in here. We're trying to stand in our power. And a lot of that challenges the status quo by looking at things like, what is God? Critically. And how does God fit into this planet that we live on, that's real, that we've all touched and know, that isn't based in cartoons, that is based in reality? God is not something separate and apart from us, right? We are an expression of God. You are an expression of God. Everybody has that power in and of themselves. But again, they put their power into something outside of themselves and then wonder why nothing works and wonder why they feel powerless in their own life. They're not taking the initiative to be the one that exists on this plane, right, to do the thing. It's like when we were talking about the why a vision board works in the last one. Right? Why the vision board works is because you take out of your mind, which is a different plane of existence, you take that which is on that plane and bring it into the physical realm, into this plane where we actually live, where you're actually trying to do the thing in order to get you where you're trying to go. Right? But we lose all our power. Oh, it's God's will. I don't know. If it's God's will, I'll just, I guess that's good. Get clear, sister. You're not if it's God's will. No, it's my will. It is my will. Personal power does not live outside of you. Are you showing up to the task of opening the door and asking something else or someone else to do that for you? Or are you showing up to do it yourself? Show up for yourself. Show up in power. Show up understanding that through you, you can do all things. But you have to be the one in the physical plane who's doing the thing. Otherwise, it's just hopes and wishes and, all this other. And they're like, well, that's not the way it works, right? I know from firsthand experience that I have had a relationship with God. Well, congratulations. Haven't we all? Haven't we all watched the sunrise and just felt that oneness? Because the oneness is where we're going. And yet people will live their life in service to that which is not oneness. Like religion saying that certain people shouldn't exist. That is not oneness. That is not kindness. That is not love. So show up in power, knowing that you are the one that we're waiting for, that you are the one who has been sent here to do the thing. Right? Don't put your power outside of yourself and then wonder why nothing happens. You can do anything. Anything you put your mind to, you can do. You can manifest, but you got to understand the rules of manifestation. And the rules of manifestation is everything that I've been doing in here, has it not? And in this time, I have been able to do for myself through my own thoughts, thought constructs, and beliefs, and taking down everything that's standing in my way, like limiting beliefs, like I have to work hard in order to be a billionaire, right? All those limiting beliefs that I have to eat a certain way in order to have a good body, that I have to do this in order to have that. No. All those limiting beliefs is what's keeping you stuck. And that's up to you. Understand that everything you see is in your control. Everything you experience is in your control. But most people aren't living within themselves, standing in their own personal power, understanding that everything they see is an option. And I can change that, I can alchemize that, or I can look at it, learn from it, and move on. But none of it is supposed to be like a judgment call, because I'm not here to judge the handiwork of God's plan, right? So it gets into this strange area where okay, well, what I'm really responsible for, and are there others? That's when it starts to get really complicated. Are there others? Do you have the ability to influence and change others around you? Because if you're in charge of everything that the projector is showing you, which is your mind, right? Everything the projector is showing you is you. And everything that you're seeing and bringing into your mind as a data point, right, is you. Is a manifestation of your own mind. But we get into this habit of thought where we're used to the same thing happening over and over and over and over and over again, things happening in a certain way, and it doesn't allow for that instant kind of jubilation of, something happening just out of left field that you weren't expecting. And it's oh, wow. And you go, wow, because you don't realize that you're the one who's doing that. Anyways, I know it gets a bit complicated, but you have to understand that everything you see and experience is you. Everything you see and experience is you. If you want to really blow your mind, there are certain schools of thought that say, okay, think about your life as if you were observing it from heaven or wherever, some celestial place. And you're peering down into your life, right? You're looking down into your life and you're experiencing it that way. You're not experiencing it physically, you're experiencing it experientially, right? Like in your mind. So, like I understand that it's difficult and it's tricky to stand and step into that much power. To go, everything on planet Earth that I observe is of me, not of God. That is of me within my own personal power, right? And so what do I want to do with that? And it's not that you can necessarily, yes, you can influence and you can, change things by that direction, but it's more understanding that the mind itself is the connection to source and that you are channeling source directly and using that power through God, essentially to channel God to be one in and of the same. Not separate and apart from, but that you are all of the power of God coming through you in order to go and do the thing, in order to go and open that door. You don't need anything outside of you, ever, for anything. The rules of manifestation have been, I feel like, laid out pretty clear. I don't even know how many videos that I've done on it now, right? In terms of seeing it in your mind, and then bringing it into this plane, right? Not just leaving it in your mind, because that doesn't quite get you there, right? To bring it into this plane, and whether that's through a vision board or whatever, to make your ask real on the plane to which you exist, right? Understand your power. Understand how you can accomplish anything, but you gotta see it first. And that's, I think, where a lot of people feel powerless. And if they can envision the dream that they want to step into, they can't quite get into the belief that it's them who's doing it. They need a trapdoor of understanding to a God who then goes out and does it, that they in and of themselves are not getting themselves there, when in fact, that's the only thing that exists. You're the only one who has the projector on Earth that you're working with. And it's all under your control if you have spent the time to train your mind. And I know in that last video it was like, well, I really am experiencing things that are completely in my control, except for when I, experience like PTSD, which is out of my control. And I'm still very, even dystonia is a little bit out of my control, but I'm working on it. And while I still have the fringes of PTSD and dystonia, every week it's reduced more and more and more and more. And who's doing that for me? I am. I'm opening that door. Every day in my daily meditation practice, I'm the one doing it. I'm visualizing that happening in my life to remember my life forward in the same way as I remember it back. But we don't ever want to remember our life back, because that has gone on, that has passed, that is a done deal, right? And there's nothing you can do about it other than ruminate on it and, just think about this illusion of an imagined past. There's nothing there for you. And that's why history, and especially cultures with a long-standing history like the Middle East, are such a mess. They're all living in this shared idea of what happened and who's good and who's bad. All evil you see and experience on Earth is caused by you. Do you talk about evil? Do you go into circles where evil is, taught and preached about? Because you want to get out of those circles real quick. Any place where they're talking about evil is worshiping evil, is invoking evil. Look at, these are not peaceful people. The majority of these evangelicals running around with guns and running around worshiping them in the same way that they worship a crucifix, which has the same purpose, which is to end life, to kill. That's a death cult, in case it's unclear. Eating of some dead dude's flesh and drinking of his blood in ceremony is a death cult. Call it the Eucharist. Call it whatever you want. You're still drinking of somebody's blood and eating of their flesh. How does that sit okay with you? I'm just like constantly amazed, like, okay, that's nice. Ritualistic cannibalism. Okay, well, enjoy that. Anyhow. But again, anything that your projector / your mind is showing you is your doing. Is your doing. Is your doing on earth. Anything that you land on with a thought for a moment and think about is in your control. Everything you see, witness, experience, and have a reaction to is in your control. Right? And so I don't participate in a lot of that. I stand in stillness. I have pretty much gotten off social media just because I just didn't need the aggravation and triggers anymore, right? And so I've just kind of really shut out the majority of the world. Right? I've individuated to the point where that does not affect me, that does not enter my mind, I'm not interested in participating in it. It holds no curiosity for me because it is nothing but chaos and opinion and judgment and ego and unhealthy behavior, all of which I do not care to fill my container with. I'm very selective about what television shows I watch because I'm always mindful of my vibe, and anything I put into me, right, I have, becomes part of me. And so I become very selective about what that means for me out of a sense of self-honor, right? Out of a sense of not being that. Understanding who I am, which is nothing but love and God. Right? That I can do all of that for myself, and there isn't any task you can put before me that I can do. I know I can. I've done it. I've been practicing in here for years. And look at what I've been able to do. Life of ease. Bam. My property now is in harmony. And while that really was painful, losing that dog, I didn't understand that was the thing that was holding back our property living in harmony. But now we have all these birds and we have cats and we have dogs and they all run around and play together. And, we don't have to worry about one pet killing another. Life of harmony, bam, done. $1 million, bam, done. I mean, I am now in meetings, business meetings, with some of the global leaders who are taking us from where we are above the government, right? And showing us a new way, how to live, how to eat. We're creating these communities that are going to be intentionally blue zones that are fully circular in the way that we live so that no garbage comes in or leaves the property. This is a game changer, and this is what I'm doing with my life because this is exciting for me and this is fun. And I did all of this through alignment without even ever having to show up to a job interview. And I'm on the world stage in business meetings talking about things that are going to change the trajectory of humanity on Earth. That's where I am in terms of my business work. I mean, it's so exciting to be surrounded by big thinkers who are not afraid to talk about stuff like that, like how do we, change the world without waiting for somebody else, because we are the ones we've been waiting for. Here we are, now is the time. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stand in your personal power? Or are you going to be giving your power away to something that exists outside of yourself? Anyways, that's where we are today. I hope that was helpful, and I hope that was really clarifying. When you have a task in your life, when you need to open this door, never look outside of yourself. Never look outside of yourself for anything. Not for love, not for attention, not for good feelings, not for wholeness, not for anything that you're looking for in life. It's all within you. It's not out there. Stop looking out there. Stop going online. Stop, clicking and trying to make yourself feel better. Stop shopping and trying to make yourself feel better. Stop all these things they're trying to do to make yourself feel better. The only thing that is going to provide you with a sense of wholeness is you. You granting that power to you. You standing in that power and owning it, and then allowing your entire expression of self to seep out into the universe and become one. Because once you stand in that oneness, then your power goes up a whole nother level. We're not quite there yet, right? Because we're still talking about the physical. And that's why open this door is such an important lesson in where we are right now. Be that powerful. Don't rely on anyone else. Go open that door yourself. Channel source directly. You don't need anyone else. Anyways, that's where we are today. I hope that was helpful, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye.